Hello and welcome back to the worst Warmachine channel on the internet. I'm Malorian, and it's time for another Warmachine battle report. So this is the first game I played after the big dynamic update came out. I was really excited to try it out, had my buddy come over, and we're going to see how these things go. Now, one thing I guess would be a little bit unfortunate is that we're not running lists that are wildly different. So for example, I'm playing my Infernals, and I guess Infernals are already kind of a limited faction, so there's not a lot of stuff I could be doing differently anyway, so I just kind of like jigger my points. And then the same thing for my opponent Ryan. Ryan's been playing this kind of Talion Shae list and kind of just jiggered it for the changes. There's some things here obviously that are here now that wouldn't have been there before, but it's not like we're going completely out and using like completely new themes or anything like that. But either way, we're playing something new. So for my part here, I am going to be running my Omodamos list from Infernals. Nice to have those Howlers being a little bit more cheaper. Not so great the fact that I have to pay the full points for Regna, but I mean, you should. She's really, really good. And this is a different version I'm running that just has like a bajillion solos. I've been playing things a little bit cheap and maybe not running as many solos as I should, so I'm running a lot and we'll see how it does. Meanwhile, on the other side, for Ryan's list, it's really kind of like this huge mixed bag of things in there that are really just set up to try and take advantage of the feat, getting in, smacking you in the face. And one of the things that is very different from what you would have seen in that list before is those Gobber River Raiders, you know, the ones that I got the spoil. So not really looking forward to their coming in and dropping my armor. Another thing here too, as we look at the scenario, is that he's going a little bit more wide on either side, and that could prove to be a problem for me. So Omodamos usually wants to kind of like keep things together. I mean, I guess for maybe Infernals in general, you want to kind of keep things together in a little ball. And so the way this is going to kind of work is I have to kind of like go down and around this terrain in the front, and then I'm going to be having trouble clearing the right zone because stuff can hide behind the forest, can hide behind the building. Meanwhile, I need to somehow fight over and get to his flag when it's something that can kind of hide behind a cloud, which I guess for me doesn't matter because a lot of my things have Isle of Sight, but hey, I don't have a lot of guns anyway. And meanwhile, any solos I send off of my flag will likely be in trouble and will probably die, especially because he knows I have stealth. You know, he's using the objective that lets him see it. So that's not going to be the best for me. So what my game plan is going into this is that I just want to kind of rocket up the middle, really get into a spot where I can make sure that I've lock down the right zone. Maybe not scoring it, but I want to make sure that he's not going to have any chance of scoring it. And then I'm going to start muscling my way over to his objective in his flag. So likely I am going to have to give up a couple scenario points doing this, and then hopefully I can just attrition him out on the long way. Also, just got to really respect the threats that he has here on the table, because things like that Commodore cannon can easily be slamming me into the building, into other heavies, and then once, I mean, I don't have the solo here anymore, Valen Hawk, that stops being knocked down, so if Omodamos gets knocked down, yeah, there's a lot of guns and fast things, especially with the feet, that could get onto me, and that could be extremely bad. So I also want to make sure that I don't get assassinated. All right, going into turn one, I won the roll-off, so hurrah, that's great. And really what I need to do is just kind of get up there. So I did have to kind of second-guess myself as I started running things and started realizing, like, ooh, am I putting myself in Commodore cannon? And I am, but he'd have to feat for it, so I'm pretty sure he's not going to go for a first-turn feat. Otherwise, Saxon's no longer there because Saxon turned into a Desolator. I did forget to move the Desolator after, so that probably could have been better. The other thing I did that was a little bit more on the aggressive side is that I have my Nicaea that ran up behind the house on the right. I really want to be going and popping out next turn and trying to shoot these pirates and getting some essence. And also the same thing with Orin. You know, I should be safe where I am there. And the reason why I like the idea of running regular Orin is that I can basically go up there, do my whole lightning leap shot, boost everything I want, and then not care because I'm going to then turn him into a Tormentor or something after. Otherwise, you know, I make my Lamenter, I cast D-Cell, I get out Synergy, and yeah, I'm actually kind of liking having Omodamos in this rubble here in the middle. That should also give me some pretty good safety against the Commodore Cannon. Like, it does go gunnery fire for Rat 8, but that should be pretty hard to hit me. All right, going on to his turn here, you can see even more so how he's kind of like going for two separate flanks. So I was wondering if he was going to just run the pirates right into my face. He didn't do that. They're a little bit more back, but you can definitely see where there is a strong force on the left side and also a very significant force on the right side as well. Now on the left, like, don't kid yourself, because of that feat, and also you could be doing Coup de Main, which gives some extra speed for privateer models. Like, he can very easily get on my objective, kill anything I put on the flag, or just kind of like zip around and attack the middle. So he is well positioned for scenario, and also just, you know, for attacking me if I'm there in the middle. The Mariner on the right, that one would probably have more of an issue just because of the forest. I mean, you could feet into it, but then the terrain would be an annoyance. Whatever, it's probably just going to shoot that turn anyway. I also kind of feel like the Death Archon on the right is too far out on the right. I believe it's over there because it wants to threaten my solos I put behind the building, but I mean, obviously I'm not going to be keeping them there. They're going to be kind of running away. So maybe if I keep a little bit central, I can avoid the Death Archon, but then again, you know, with that feat, it can go for days. Now, one of the things he did catch me with is that he basically ran up the Mariner on the left, and then he was able to go up there with the monkey, and he had the range for it because he did do the Coup de Main this turn, and then he did an auxiliary attack, shoots at Orin, kills Orin. So, okay, that's down a solo that I probably didn't need to lose already. Could have been a little bit further back. That's probably just a misplay on my part. But then again, I suppose you could have just been like winging a shot into my Cultists, and if I had a choice of losing like a bunch of my Cultists or Orin, I probably want to be losing Orin. All right, so we're going on to my turn 2 here. Again, I realize that there's not a lot I can actually get to of his. However, there are all these juicy pirates in the middle. I really do feel he kind of, you know, he might as well have held them back, because where they are right now, I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to feat so I can get the Desolator up there, spray a bunch, kill a bunch more, and because of the rule in Omodamos, as long as I have my own battle group within my control range, maybe it's command, whatever it is, so it's about the same thing when it comes to Omodamos, then I get all those delicious souls. So I should have so many souls next turn. So even though it seems like a little bit of a waste to use the feat now, I know I'm being alpha'd next turn, and at that point, the extra range won't matter. So I just might as well just try and like get a good secure spot in the center, keep Omodamos safe, load up on souls, do what I can, and then go from there after that. So on my turn 2, that's what I do. Omodamos has to go. I had to also, of course, kill a couple of models to get my essence back. I am going to be going up there with Omodamos, doing my feat, really not doing much else other than doing... well, I even get the locked horns for free, so I don't have to do anything. I did go and turn Deviros into a Tormentor, so having that free option meant that I had, you know, all my essence that I'm sitting on to be very, very safe. Cast D-Cell again, went up there with the Desolator, it killed a bunch, got in there with my Tormentor, it did some more work as well. And one of the things I maybe forgot to mention last turn there is that the reason why the pirates were so far up is that they walked up and took some shots. And even though their odds were low, he spiked those dice, and one of my Howlers was actually down to 1 wound. So that's the one Howler that's a little bit holding back. I came up and I healed it up to full. The Lamenter ran over to the left, really just trying to get things in the way so that, you know, where, as I said, he had the option of either going for scenario or smashing me in the middle. This should hopefully gum him up enough that he has to just do kind of like one or the other and doesn't really have all the choices. And if I can hold some pieces back, that's really going to help. Otherwise, yeah, the thing I did at the very beginning, if you're wondering why I didn't make any toughs, is that my good old little Wretch there, which is now speed 8 and kind of ghostly, ran right into the middle of all of that. So none of those pirates had any of the tough. It was really sad news for him because, you know, he had both the solos there, right? So they were 4+ tough, no knockdown, but it doesn't matter when you can't heal or tough or anything like that. So yeah, it was really sad news for him. I killed almost all of his pirates. I'm sitting on a ton of extra souls for next turn. And yeah, now just to kind of wait and see what he does. Alright, so going on to his turn 2, this will be his feat turn, and he's going to get a good amount of work done. So basically, Shae's going to feat, get things to where he wants them. The Death Archon on the right's going to charge in, do some pretty good work onto the Howlers. Most importantly, though, he did actually have a miss, and so that left the one alive that was kind of like blocking him up. So that kind of forced the one Jack there, the Marner, to have to kill that last Howler. Then he was able to come in with the what's it called? The Freebooter, and the Freebooter killed off some more of the Howlers, did a little bit of work onto a Tormentor, also did some shooting there in the middle. I mean, that's really what kind of set those Howlers up for being knocked down and really killed by the Freebooter, is that he slammed one into another one. So yeah, pretty much all the Howlers but one are dead now. So that's kind of like the center and the right. On the left side, you know, he basically tries to kill off the Lamenter, but doesn't really work out, you know, has some misses. I dodge. He actually did this and then feeded back into me type thing to tie me down. Then the Death Archon charges into the middle here, just trying to get stationary out there to make things so we get a little bit of damage in, and then also force me to use some essence. So didn't really roll the best, but hey, I got a scattering of damage in there, and we're all stationary, so that'll be a big issue. And then what he decided to do with his Malvin and Mayhem is actually go after my objective. And this really shows the difference and what it means for the change on Malvin and Mayhem. So if it was the old rules, it would have come in, destroyed the objective, moved over an inch, able to kill the Wretch, and then not only would that clear the flag so that one of his little river raiders could run onto it, it's just hiding on the left or right now, but it is not quite far enough out of the way. He was hoping it was going to be far enough back that I couldn't get any heavies on it, but it is just close enough still so that that leftmost Tormentor there can actually walk down and actually get onto it. So real difference there for what happened with the change. You know, he's gonna get a lot of trouble there, get punched, and he didn't score that point. Otherwise, I got, you know, River Raider kind of being annoying there on the right. Actually, two of them, the other one's hard to see. He's going to be scoring a point here and getting ahead, and you know what? This should be okay. You know, I know I'm down a point, at 2 points actually, because he gets the flag and the objective, but now I'm going to spot here where I can hit back hard, hopefully kill off a lot of his pieces, and maybe start getting something onto his flag so I can really be trying to lock it down. So on my turn 3, that's really what I do. I have to really kind of figure out how I want to do the timings for trying to get the synergy going up. Both of his Death Archons did do the ability so that all my models, basically all living models, are -2 to their damage rolls. So I want to kill them off, but I also need to get the synergy up first. So I did some things where, like, of course I shake all of the stationary, came up, gave up a whole bunch of essence, did a few little attacks, it didn't matter too much, like the Desolator punched a little bit just to get it up. Also went up with one of the Tormentors to make some attacks against the Freebooter, again, just to try and get it up. And then once that was done, then I could get a lot more done. So I was able to actually Vengeance up and run up with the Howler, just to really get to tie everything up there. On the right, was able to get into the Death Archon, kill it, and also get some serious damage onto that Marner over there. I believe I destroyed its Cortex and also its like main weapon, the Anchor. So yeah, it's really crippled. It's not going to be doing too much. And then meanwhile on the left, as I mentioned, I had one Tormentor that had to kill off that Death Archon, and then once that was free, then the other Tormentor could go down, kill off the actual Malvin and Mayhem, so that's massive. I was able to go up with one of my solos over there and turn it into a Soul Stalker. It was actually kind of cute, you know, that was actually one of the Wretches that ran up and turned into the Soul Stalker. The other Wretch, I didn't quite have enough to kill off Malvin and Mayhem, so I had to kind of choose whether I want to make like a last attack and then have my Tormentor disappear, and I was like, hey, why don't I just go up there, auxiliary attack, and then I could just like repo onto the flag. So that little jank move worked. Otherwise, the Lamenter just kind of like wheeled around in order to try and get on the flag to get to contest it. Did a little bit of damage, but yeah, yeah, so at this point here, I'm counter scoring. It's now 1-2. I'm camping a good amount. I have locked horns up. I have decel up. Pretty much everything's in my range for that except for the Lamenter. So I think this was the critical turn. This is where I knew that I needed to do this work, and now I can kind of catch up. All right, so on his turn, he's going to be killing off the Lamenter so he can score again. He's going to come down here and wow, Black Bella, this is like the Bella 2 model, comes in here and does serious work. So it gets a Thresher at 4 inches. And so with that, it kills off 2 of my Cultists, kills off the Wretch, and gets some okay damage against the Tormentor as well. So that really sucks. I don't have any solos over there anymore to try and go for that flag. So that's going to make things a little bit tough. Otherwise, yeah, you know, shoots and does some slams, but nothing really too important. I believe actually the cannon didn't do the slam shot. It just did like the spray to try and kill off the dude there and also do some work onto my heavies back over here, the Tormentors in the center. But yeah, you know, not really too much done. I believe those pirates had to actually finish it off after because the cannon wasn't enough to finish off the Howler. And even though he's going up on scenario again, 3-1, okay, now I'm in a spot where I can really clean things up. So then on my turn 4, that's what I decide to do. Omodamos just needs to stay safe. I kill off the Mariner, and then I kill off the monkey, then realizing like, oh yeah, the monkey explodes. So luckily, like he got to place the explosion like right on my Cultist, and then luckily it scatters off. So that helped a lot. Otherwise, in the center, killing off the rest of those pirates that are in the way, trying to get onto the cannon. Also made a Shrieker just so I could try and shoot it and kill off the crew that way next turn. On the left side there, yeah, destroyed that Mariner, really all over the flag. Killed off Bella, starting to move over another model so I could try and get onto the flag. But yes, I mean, it also had like Nicaea, who was like slowly killing off River Raiders on the right. But yeah, at this point, you know, he's still up on scenario, but obviously attrition really going my way. And I mean, should also start turning now, right? Like if I go past this, at this point now, I'm going to be scoring the right zone, my own flag. However, I am starting to get a little bit stressed. A lot of my beasts you're seeing out there either have like no essence or 1 essence. So things like Tormentor 2 and the Soul Stalker, I have no way of really getting good essence on it if he was like to kill off those 2 cultists right there. So I could be starting to have some of my monsters disappearing, but it should be okay. On his turn 4, he kind of like, you could see in his eyes, he's thinking about maybe conceding, but he's like, well, I just might as well kind of like finish this off type thing. So what he does is, first of all, moves the monkey so I get double counter charge. You know, like obviously it would be bad for him because if he loses the monkey, I'll score the zone, but he's hoping for a cute play where he gets to like explode and like blow up my cultists. But hey, those monkeys are hard to hit. I miss, and it survives. And then what he actually decides to go for his play is like, if this was a tournament, he'd want to try and score a point, right? So what he does is shoots the Soul Stalker, so hoping to slam it away from the flag so that he can score it with Shae. It doesn't work. It just slams it like 1 inch, actually puts it into the cloud. So now it's going to have a harder time trying to actually do anything to it. But then Shae comes over onto the flag and does blow the man down. And then that gets the crit, slams it away, makes it so he can actually score the flag. So it's now 4-1 for scenario. But yeah, now I should be able to get on to him. So on my turn 5, I basically just make some attacks to get synergy up, use the Cultist to put some essence onto that Tormentor. Tormentor charges into Shae, and thus like, you know, boost to hit, it's dice +6, do 20 damage, and that's going to be the game. So overall, you know, I didn't really feel that my Infernals played very differently compared to what it was before. I mean, that's also probably just really a product of the fact that I already loved Tormentors. I think they're fantastic. I really think that you need that front line that can take the initial hit, and especially in this new world where we expect more infantry, yeah, you're going to be wanting to have that so it doesn't really have infantry running up and gumming up all of your Tormentors that you want to be using. So I'm loving this list. the having to pay for Regna, a little bit of a problem, but not the biggest deal. Obviously, things can still work. As far as Ryan's list, I think this list can do very well. I do kind of feel, though, that the feat had to be more aggressive. So instead of having things going after, like, my flag and stuff like that, I think it needed just to, like, go into my face and try and kill off as many heavies as possible. Like, maybe even trying to use it so that you can use the cannon to kind of, like, slam one Howler into another, try and get them out of the way, make sure that you can get past them, get into the Tormentors, try and kill them off. We also talked about after where he could have been using the Marner or the cannon, because the cannon doesn't only just slam, it also can do like this incendiary shot that has like range 16 and big AoE, lighting things on fire. So if he was using those things to try and kill off all my cultists and solos early, like that could have been doing something. And then when it's go time, all right, feet go in, try and do as much work as possible. But yeah, I definitely feel that things like Malvin and Mayhem, it got nerfed. It's still going to be really good. Things like the Death Archon, they got nerfed. They're still going to be amazing. So I do think that Ryan will be finding success with this later on. It's just it didn't really come together this game here. Especially that little pirate boat. There's still a good amount of things out there that just stops healing. And it's tough having to pay those points, saying like, haha, we're all 4+ tough, no knockdown, and then just having one Wretch run into the middle and it all means nothing. So that part I feel could leave and go and change to something else. But otherwise, yeah, really excited. Both of us came from this game, pumped and ready for another one. We have a tournament coming up here next month. We're all like super pumped for that. So anyway, for you watching here, let me know. Are there any things that you would have done differently? Anything that you would have changed in the list, please let me know. And otherwise, we'll catch you later. Bye.